Hi everyone, this is Jackie from Bronx Baubles, aka Titi Gordy, bringing you part 2 of a 2-part series of vintage custom jewelry inspired by an amazing man named Walter Mercado. Part 1, I explored 12 different looks and one representing each month in zodiac. And today I'll be extending that to 12 looks and one bonus look at the end. And I was so excited to do this video, and I really wanted to do it justice because Walter Mercado is just a legendary icon in the Latin community. I don't think he's given enough credit for his contribution to the Latin culture, more specifically on the Puerto Rican culture. And I think that what he represented is just kindness. He was a fascinating individual. I think he opened doors for the queer community, and as well as acceptance of different religions. And he exuded just peaceful positivity, and that's what he's known for. His positive ways of exploring the zodiac sign and astrology. Whenever he did a horoscope, he always said nothing but positive things to the community. And so his story was a pretty sad story, actually. He had been around for decades. He goes all the way back to the 70s and 80s and 90s. And in the mid 2000s, he fought the fight of his life because his identity, his name, his branding, his image, his spirituality, everything was tied up in a lawsuit that he was not able to use his name or his image, and that was done because he signed a document that he shouldn't have signed, which gave all the rights to who he was as an individual to a production company that exploited it. And that production company's signature that he signed the document basically signed away his whole entire life from here to eternity. He fought that for about 6 years, and he actually won the lawsuit at the end. However, it just broke him. It broke him because it's not who he is. He's not a fighter. It broke him because the people that were involved in the lawsuit were people that he cared deeply about, and he loved them. And 2 days after winning that lawsuit, he had a heart attack. And so by the time he recovered from that serious heart attack, he felt like he didn't have the right image to portray out there. And so he was very reluctant to go back into the world the way he was, until a retrospective in Miami brought him out of hiding. And he was back to his fabulous self. He was amazing. I wish they bring that retrospective to other museums throughout the community, the world rather, and especially here in New York, because I would love to see it. I wouldn't miss it for nothing. So let's go. A lot of this information I gathered from the internet, from YouTube, but also from a movie that came out called Mucho Mucho Amor. And I would highly suggest you see that movie because it explained a lot about who Walter was. What it didn't explain, I felt, was how near and dear he was to the Latin community, how important he was. I mean, grandmothers and mothers and fathers and children all would line up at the television just to hear their horoscope said by him. And because he always said something positive, people really looked forward to hearing about their horoscope on a daily basis. So he entered into people's worlds regularly, daily, sometimes multiple times a day. And so he really filtered through the Latin lens and exposed positivity throughout the whole entire Latin community. And that's why he's so revered, that's why he's so loved, and that's why he's legendary. So let's get started with this jewelry. My first look is him decked out in this amazing purple fabulousness suit. And so I'm going to do a side-by-side, so you're going to take a look at his picture. And here, for your eyes to look at, is what I would consider a perfect example of what he was wearing in that purple suit. And as you can see in his hands, I'm gonna put this down for a second, he's wearing this fabulousness of a ring. It's a Moonstone Ring, and the one that I have is sterling silver, huge, because he loved really big and gaudy jewelry like I do. That's why I'm named Titi Gaudy. And look at that purple flower rose. He wore a lot of these big pins like this. In fact, if you look at my Port 1 video, you'll see how he came out with some beautiful pink, yellow, and blue roses. That was January's look. This is February's look, and he's wearing gorgeous, gorgeous beads. Or at least that's how I envision him wearing that suit. And so look at these beads. One is a tassel, and that's a modern piece. I got that maybe recently. And the other non-tassel necklace is an actual Art Deco crystal beads that I bought that is just dripping with sparkles and fabulousness. In addition, I pulled out some bracelets that I feel that would go really, really, really well with that cape that he wears. And he is known for wearing these incredibly elaborate capes. So now we're going to March look, and just look at that. That looks exactly like what he was wearing in that video. I mean, that picture. Isn't that cool? That is just an incredible piece, and this is perhaps 6 inches of rhinestone crusted, multicolored, beautiful brooch. So now we're going to February, and he's wearing this amazing red and blue cape, and I thought that this brooch would go really, really well with that cape. It's very similar to the one that he's wearing. This is another really high quality made brooch. It's probably vintage. It's probably made within the last 20 years. And then I have this one, and I believe this one I purchased at Talbot's, and it's kind of like a jellystone type brooch. It's not vintage. It was probably made in the last 10 years, but I can totally see him wearing that on his collar like that. Here is March. Now, when you think of vintage costume jewelry, you think of the jewelry. But what about accessories? And so he was decked out in this gorgeous fan. And so I thought maybe I can just pull out some fans. I collect fans because I go dancing. And when I dance, I like to fan myself with these fans. So take a look at this one. Wow, isn't that gorgeous? And it's painted in the front and in the back. And this is a beautiful purple fan. Here is, let me pull out the red one, because the red one is the one that was inspired by Walter Mercado. And in this red one, you can see there's moons and stars. And I think Walter would have totally accepted, you know, this fan, because of the moons and stars sort of looks like the astrology. And look at the scrollwork, the gold scrollwork. These are made from wood, and they're painted in the front and back, and they have a silk trim to it, and the bottom is hand carved wood and also hand painted. So here is, my bird is flying. And the orange. Isn't that gorgeous? So when I take these out, people just love them. Women love them. They ask if they can borrow them. Men love to see women fan themselves. I think fans should be a staple in every woman's purse, especially in the wintertime. I mean, the summertime rather. Here is a green. That green kind of reminds me of the green that Frida Kahlo wears behind her head in the portrait, and I'm going to do a side by side of that. Isn't that fabulous? The green with the flowers and the roses. And this one doesn't have the hand cutouts because it's all painted. Oh, it's just stunning. I have one more to show. You can get fans down in Chinatown or even online at Etsy for, you know, $2 or $3. And sometimes it's nice to buy them in bulk. I bought them in bulk and handed them out to friends as gifts for my dance friends for the holidays. So just to show you a little bit about what I'm wearing right now, it's I'm wearing these fabulous vintage earrings, which I showed you earlier. Look at this amazing shirt. I'm wearing this in homage to Mr. Fabulousness himself, Walter Mercado, and this Aurora Borealis vintage crystal bracelet that comes with rhinestone clasps. When you see these, they sometimes comes without the fancy clasp, but I always buy the ones with the fancy clasps, and I have a whole bunch of these, and maybe one of the video, I'll do one video on that. But moving on to June, here is June, and he is of course decked out in his amazing, almost like I want to say Elvis Presley cape, and I pulled this gem out. These are called crawlers because you could wear them and then drape like that. You could wear these in your hair like this, and you could wear them on a belt if you had like a satin silk belt like that. You could pin them so that it kind of shows like this or like that. These things, these brooches are just great. They're over 6 inches tall. You see how that looks? And I think he would have been happy wearing that. I have Walter Mercado with his crystal ball, and I think he's holding it like this. So this is a must accessory for any astrologer. Look at that fabulous crystal ball. Love it. Walter was started out his career as an actor and a dancer, and because he was a flamenco dancer, and he was always known for doing these poses. And so it's very fitting that he would take this crystal ball and frame it the way he would frame his face. And he said, oh, people love these little silly ways. And because he was that flamenco dancer, you know, he always did things with his hands that were very, very exotic and interesting. So you'll see a lot of hand movements with Walter Mercado. But this look has this beautiful, beautiful, look at that, brooch. Like, you could wear this draped on the side of a jacket or a jean shirt, but this is just fabulousness. And if this brooch is just too big for you, I have a smaller brooch. Isn't this pretty? This is a brooch, is a vintage, and it's made in Austria, and it actually has a cartouche that says made in Austria. And Austria made the best rhinestones. The best rhinestones came out of Austria. The way they sparkle, the way they glitter. So I bought this recently, actually. I would say in the last 3 months. And if I paid more than $3 for this, that would be a lot of money. One of the things that Walter would do is he's known for saying mucho, mucho amor, and then he would do it like this. He would go, mucho, mucho amor. And that's how he'd finish his presentation. And he was known for saying that, you know, lots and lots of love. Next look is this is August, and he's wearing coral. And here is a sample of a coral necklace that Walter would have totally wore. And coral is a natural stone. And that natural stone, you know, even though he was all about the glitz and the glamour and about being flashy and ostentatious, and he had a humble side to him, and he considered himself a humble Hibaro, a mountain person, a hillbilly from the mountains. And when he wear coral like this from the earth, that appeals to his humble side. He also wore beads, necklaces made of beans, mala beads, prayer beads made of wood, and which are all natural, organic materials. And then he'd wear the coral, which is an organic, natural material. And the thing is that although he wore these rhinestones and these crazy fabulous costumes, he also wore, you know, humble things as well. This one's a little bit more on the gaudier side, but you can see he probably wear even something like this as well. This is huge. It's probably Tibetan, made from alpaca silver. The beads are resin probably, and these beads here are wooden, and it has a very simple clasp, and it has a big impact when you wear it. And last of the coral would be this one, which I can totally see him wear. This one I bought when I was in Paris, actually. It's unfortunate that some of the thread is coming out of it, but it's a beautiful piece. This is a brooch that I can totally see. It's a huge brooch. It fits in the palm of my hand. This is a Mary Mcfadden brooch. She was a popular jewelry designer. I gotta really study more about her, but this is a popular brooch that she has, and you can see how I can see him wearing that. And then I pulled out this fan from the 80s. This is Clara Studios brooch. Again, there's no rhinestones on it, but the reason why I pulled this one out is because of the fans that he had before. Same motif. I figured, you know, he liked fans, so he probably would like this piece as well. This has two cartouches called Clara Studios. I don't know a lot about that, but I know it's 80s. And then I have this brooch. This is an Elizabeth Taylor brooch from Avon. Highly collectible. I love to do a video on Elizabeth Taylor jewelry because she's a phenomenal jewelry collector. So this is from Elizabeth Taylor's Avon collection. And Avon jewelry is highly collectible, but what's most collectible in the Avon jewelry are the designer ones, the Kenneth J. Lanes, the Elizabeth Taylors. Can't think of the other ones that off the top of my head, but this is something I can see Walter totally wearing. And Elizabeth Taylor would have totally approved of Walter Mercado. They probably would have been best friends. So that was September. Here is October's look. October's look is this one here. That's another huge brooch. It's probably about 5 inches big. It's covered in cabochon stones that are glue set. This is just a really gorgeous piece. Walter would have totally been happy to wear this. And in fact, if you see the movie Mucho Mucho Amor and there's pictures of the exhibit, he has a jewelry box when it's opened. He has these brooches, all different types of brooches, and they're secured to the jewelry box because he probably uses it when he travels, which tells you how important the jewelry was for him, that he took amazing care of it. This is a 1980s Deploz, I don't know how to say that correctly, brooch, and it's a really nice piece. This is a much smaller piece. It's not a high quality. The stones are plastic, not made of glass, but it totally has the look that Walter's going for in that picture. So let's go on to November. November's my month. And November, he's wearing this fabulous orange outfit. And I thought maybe I'd pull out this brooch because it has the November stone of citrine on it. Now, none of these months I usually followed, except of course I'm going to follow November's stone. So November has the citrine on it. And here's another smaller, more demure brooch. And the stone on this one has like an ombre, and it's surrounded by these beautiful little tiny seed pearls. Really pretty piece. And if you see the movie Mucho Mucho Amor, you're going to see Walter morphing into a lion. And so when I saw this, I had to pull this out. This is a very iconic brooch, vintage, that you can wear as a pendant. And again, it has the movement, and I can totally see him wearing this. Last but not least is December's look. In December, he's wearing a red outfit with something like this on his neck to offset some of that red. And this is a really beautiful piece. I wouldn't think to wear it with the red, but he pulls it off fabulously. Along with that is maybe this. This is another gray brooch that I can totally see him wear with that outfit. And here is another gray rhinestone. And actually there's one more after this one. Here's another gray rhinestone that I can see him wear. And this here. One of the things I failed to show you in, what month was that? In February was these two bracelets. So these go with February. Let me show you the rest. Here is February's look, and I'm going to put it side by side so you can see that, because I missed that. And that's a really, really nice look. So that concludes the Walter Mercado, except I have a bonus piece, and that's this necklace right here. And the reason why this is a fabulous necklace is it has all the zodiac signs. It has Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. So I could totally see Walter wearing this zodiac necklace. And since I did all the months, each month, and I probably should have done the zodiacs instead of the months, come to think of it, but here you go. So if you like what you saw, please hit subscribe, please hit like, give me your comments, let me know what you think, let me know what you'd like to see. Some future videos that I'm currently working on are for my, I don't want to say yet because I don't want to give up the surprise, but it has to do with the holidays, so a video on holiday jewelry. I'm working on a video for the museum pieces that I have, so pieces that come out of the Museum of Modern Art, Museum of Fine Arts, all types of different museums. And I'm also working on a video on my uranium jewelry, and I'm considering other topics. So please, if you have a topic that you'd like me to work on, please put it on the comments. Again, I'm trying to grow my fan base. I don't have a lot of fans yet, but I just got started. So hit subscribe, hit like, leave me a comment, and forward me on to other people, and hopefully they'll like what they see too. So with that, con mucho amor.